on basics of research procedures and publication. To start with, I invite Tawhid to recite few verses from the Holy Quran. Tawhid.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. والتين والزيتون وتور سينين وهذا البلد العمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين صدق الله.
Thank you, Tawhid. Today's
Thank
topic
you.
is Framing Research Proposal. We have Dr. U.M. Deshmukh, Professor and Chairman, MPhil Program C Cyber, Kolhapur. Sir has more than 2 decades of teaching and research experience. He has been teaching courses such as operations management, materials and inventory management, logistics and supply chain management, quality management, research methodology, and his current research areas are quality management, inventory management, and operations management. Sir has carried out 3 minor research projects sponsored by UGC Pune. He has guided 52 MPhil and 14 PhD students. He has published more than 40 research papers in national and international journals and presented more than 20 papers in different national and international conferences. He has also authored a book in the area of business management and edited more than 10 books. He is a co-author of many books for Shivaji University's distance education MBA program in the areas of production and operations management, fundamentals of entrepreneurship, materials management, total quality management, purchasing and supply management, industrial organization, industrial marketing, factory organization and management, world class manufacturing, etc. He has also edited a self instruction manual material for distance education. Sir has organized 12 national and state level workshops and one international conference on demonetization and remonetization, issues and challenges for global business during August 2017. Presently, he is a BOS member of Management Board of Shivaji University and also Board of Studies member of Production and Quantitative Techniques, Marketing Management and member of Academic Council, Governing Council at C Cyber and Autonomous Institute. Sir has worked in different committees of Shivaji University, such as the Local Inspection Committee, Research and Recognition Committee, Teacher Selection Committee, Paper Setting and Syllabus Committee, etc. Sir is a resource person to many educational institutions and universities. He is a life member of various professional bodies such as Indian Society for Technical Education, New Delhi, Society of Operations Management, Bangalore, Indian Commerce Association, Jaipur, and likewise. He is the former Chancellor nominee on the Senate of Shivaji University, Kolhapur, and is the former member coordinator of Internal Quality Assurance Cell of C Cyber, Kolhapur. I, on behalf of Anjuman Management College, principal staff, and all the participants, heartily welcome you, sir. Over to you, sir.
I would
Sir,
like to
your voice is not audible, sir.
hello.
Hello? You're not audible, sir.
1 minute. Now,
No, no, sir, it's breaking. Your voice is breaking. Your screen is blank and your voice is breaking.
screen is blank.
Yeah,
Now it is visible, sir, visible.
it's
Is
visible, but there's
blank?
no PowerPoint.
Not visible, madam.
No, no,
PowerPoint.
sir. No, it's not visible.
Not it.
Suleiman, kindly guide sir again.
Sir, kindly share your screen, sir. I think there is a network issue, madam.
Hello.
Sir, your voice is breaking. It's not clear.
Sir, is there any network problem?
Network, no, network seems to be clear. Network, there is no problem.
Okay, now just share your screen, sir, again.
Now, is it visible?
Yeah, sir, it is visible, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, sir,
Visible?
fine.
Is it visible?
Yeah, sir,
Yes, sir.
visible, sir, visible.
Okay, okay. So, first of all, I would like to thank organizer for inviting me as a speaker for this today's session, wherein I am supposed to deliver session on framing research proposal. I hope that all the participant of this FDP program, they are academicians, they are researchers, and academicians, those academicians who want to go for research, uh, and also those who are already doing want to go for PhD, MPhil degrees. So for such participant, I feel that so far as this framing of research proposal is concerned, it is very important. We all know that research proposal is nothing but it is a blueprint of our research. No, before we begin research process, you all know that research is a process. It is not a one can complete at a stage. It is a stage by stage systematic and scientific process of investigation of problem which we undertake for our research. So when we talk about research process, we should also talk about no blueprint of that process or proposal of that process, research process. So in researcher point of view, preparation of research proposal is very important. Rather, I feel that your success of research depends on the way you prepare your research proposal. uh, Generally researcher seems that or feels that what is in the proposal, they will not give much value, and then what the you will find that at the end of day they may not able to complete their research successfully, if at all they are not serious about the proposal they prepare for their research. So in this way, you will understand the importance of this research proposal. Now, so far as proposal of research is concerned, uh, it is a process. No, and this process you have to understand in this particular session. Now, so far as my this delivery of this session is concerned, I divided this delivery of my session in three stages. Uh, in the first stage, we'll have to understand the importance of research proposal. Then we have to understand what is that process of research proposal, and finally we'll have to understand what points we should consider while preparing the research proposal. Rather, it is also called as a structure of research proposal, so that we'll discuss at the end of or at the last stage of my session. So to begin with, uh, importance of research proposal, as I already told you that our success of research depends on the way we prepare the research proposal. As I already told you, research proposal nothing but it is a plan of our research. Means what is our research, which area we want to do our research, what is a specific problem that we want to undertake while doing our research, uh, how much time we have to spend on completion of our research, how much resources we want to employ while completing our research, how much cost will incur while completing our research. All such things, no, we have to study, we have to understand while preparing our research proposal. And you understand that unless we work out details of all such things, we cannot complete our research successfully. So, as I said, the success of research depends on the way you plan your research, the way you prepare your research proposal. Now, as I already told you, that research is a systematic and scientific process of purposeful investigation. Means whatever problem we undertake for our investigation, that we cannot complete, or that investigation a problem cannot be complete at a stage. There is a some point where we have to begin our research, and after certain period, we'll able to complete our research. So it is a stage by stage, systematic and scientific process of completion of our research. So it is a process. So this we what we have to understand, and only after we understand the process in detail, we'll able to plan our research proposal systematically and scientifically. So once we understand, okay, it is a process, then in the following stage, we have to understand now what and how we can prepare our research proposal. How should be the structure of our research proposal? Means blueprint of our research proposal. What points we should include while completing our research proposal. So I hope that the slide I already mentioned the points which researcher can consider while preparing his detailed research proposal. So you understand that research proposal nothing but include the points like introduction, followed by second point, that is a review of literature. Then next is statement of problem. After we write statement of problem, we have to spell out objectives of our research. Then in the next stage, on the line of objectives, we have to formulate various statements of hypothesis. And once we frame this statement of hypothesis, in the following point, we have to mention the significance of study. And all along with all these points, research methodology, that point rather I feel we have to work out very systematically and scientifically, because we all know that research methodology is nothing but kind of method by which we can able to complete our research. Rather, the quality of research depends on the kind of system, what kind of procedures, kind of methods you use while completing your research. In the earlier session, speakers might have told you about research methodology. They might have explained you research methodology concept in detail. So hope that you understood the importance of research methodology in any type of research. So that we should write or plan very systematically when we write our research proposal. Particularly when we talk about research methodology, we should consider three things. One is methods, what we use, what would be used while collecting data. So what are the various sources from which we'll able to collect data for our research? That what we have to write while writing the proposal. Then followed by what would be the tools, various tools, statistical tools we can use for data analysis. That is also we have to write in research methodology. And finally, the sample of our research. Means so far as research studies in social sciences like commerce or management, economics are concerned, majority research studies in social sciences, they are mainly based on surveys. And when we talk about survey method, we have to think that how we can plan our survey. In our survey, how and which sample we'll consider for our study. So sample design is also one of the important part of our research methodology. So that also we have to plan well in advance when we write the research proposal. Then in the next point we have to explain the would be scope of our research, particularly what would be topical scope of our research, geographical scope of our research, analytical scope of our research, functional scope of our research. All such things we should mention while writing the research proposal. At the end, we should give the chapter scheme of our report. Means, finally, because at the end of our research, we should put our report or put our research finding in the form of report. And how would be writing our report, how would be the various sections of our report. For example, what would be first part of our, means first chapter of our report, second chapter of report, and where our report will end, with what chapter, with what section our report will end. That plan, to which we can call as a chapterization, that should also we have to give in our research proposal. So these are the points that we should consider while preparing our research proposal. Now, these all points we will understand in detail, because researchers should understand what one should write in introduction of our research proposal, what we should cover while writing review of literature or statement of problem, and so on. So these points will refer for discussion in detail, so that you will able to gain insight onto these various points of our research proposal. Now, to begin with introduction. Now, introduction of research proposal we should give by considering these various points. Now, for example, our research is from management discipline, or we want to do our research in management discipline. Then in management discipline, which area of management or which problem, which management problem we want to study, that what we have to decide. And for example, we decided that we want to do our research in, for example, one of the functional area of management, like marketing. Then question arises again in marketing, which specific problem you want to undertake for your research. So that once we decide, then we have to think of writing introduction of our research proposal. Now, for example, researcher wanted to go for research in marketing area, and that too also specifically he wanted to undertake buying behavior problem or marketing strategy problem for his research. Then in introduction of research proposal, which he want to write on this buying behavior, that problem he has identified as a research problem, then introduction he should write from origin of that topic of research is now buying behavior. Buying behavior is a uh, problem of marketing management area. And while writing introduction of proposal, you should think writing introduction right from origin of that topic, origin from where this buying behavior concept originated, what is the meaning of buying behavior in marketing area, why buying behavior is to be studied. No, buying behavior, we know that we study behavior of customer, we study attitude of customer towards our product, we study opinion of customer about products, or opinion of customer of services offered by the company. Then why this purpose that researcher understand, researcher consider while writing introduction of topic, that you have to understand. So you start writing into your introduction right from origin of topic, that is buying, origin of buying behavior, from where this concept or theory originated, what is the meaning of buying behavior, what is the purpose of buying behavior in marketing, means why marketing behavior is to be studied, how that helps in designing marketing strategies, means by studying behavior of customer, how company can design their marketing strategies, how, so that you have to understand. And at the end, what developments took place at international as well as national level, so far as well as regional level, so far as this theory, that is theory of buying behavior and marketing is concerned. So all such points, all such things you have to consider while while writing introduction of your research proposal. So here in introduction, you are writing about buying behavior, its origin, its meaning, its purpose, and developments took place at international, national, as well as regional level, so far as buying behavior marketing is concerned. Then all such points you can consider while preparing introductory part or introduction of your research proposal. There's always confusion in researcher mind when they start writing proposal, that is what we should write in introduction of our proposal, on the other hand what we should write when we'll write statement of our problem, and also what we should write while writing the significance of study. So these 3 points, generally it is our experience that when student researcher start writing his research proposal, and when we say that now these 3 points you should consider while preparing your proposal, one is introduction, another is statement of problem, and third is significance of study, then there is a confusion in students mind that what I should write in introduction, on the other hand when I start writing what I should write in statement of problem, and also in significance what I should. So there is a confusion. There are maybe possibility of repetition in write up of these three different things. So you have to be very clear that introduction what I should write, on the other hand significance what I should write. So you understand that. So when you write introduction of your research proposal, you consider these things. Means you understand first what topic you have selected for your research, means what topic you want to do your research, and once you are clear about topic of your research, then that you consider while introduction of your proposal. So write origin of topic, meaning of topic, purpose of topic, and fourth point that is developments took place in this particular area, buying behavior area or marketing strategy area at international, national, and regional level. So covering all these points, you will able to write introduction of your research proposal. Then coming to the next point of your research paper, wherein one is supposed to write about review of literature. I hope that you all understand the importance of review of past literature. You remember review of past literature, you can classify into two types. One is review of theoretical literature as well as review of research literature. So first, researchers should review the theoretical literature. Only after he review theoretical literature, he should go for review of research literature. Now, so far as review of theoretical literature is concerned, it is nothing but review of literature, theoretical literature on which you want to do your research. If, for example, your research topic is buying behavior, then you should be very clear about concept of buying behavior. Unless your concepts of buying behavior is clear, means what is buying behavior, what is importance of buying behavior in marketing, you cannot do research on buying behavior. So first you get clear your concept of topic on which you want to do your research. Or if your topic of research is marketing strategy, first of all you get clear a concept of marketing. So marketing, what is a marketing strategy, what are types of marketing strategy, how the marketing strategies are designed for attracting customers towards product. All such things, means concepts of topic on which you want to do research, should be very clear. So first you read theoretical literature of the topic, and once you are clear about theory or concepts of topic of research, then you, second part, you go for review of research literature. means you have to understand past how many researcher on what uh, research they have done on buying behavior, because you also want to do your research on buying behavior. So earlier studies, what researcher they have done research on buying behavior, means what aspect they had covered in their research so far as buying behavior is concerned. Now, what are their objectives of research? How they had formulated statement of hypothesis in their research? What methodology they had used while completing their research? Means how they went for data collection, what sources they had used while collecting data from various sources, what kind of data they had generated in their research, whether it is a quality type of data they had generated or quantitative data generated, or both type of quality as well as quantitative, what qualitative data, what quantitative data they had generated in their research. Then what methods of analysis they had used in their research, means what statistical tools they had used for analysis in their research, whether they went for descriptive statistical analysis, a descriptive statistic method for analysis, or inferential statistical method for analysis, how they went for testing of hypothesis, what test of testing of hypothesis they had used, whether they had used for probability testing or probability testing of test of testing of hypothesis, or non-probability test of testing of hypothesis. Parametric test of testing of hypothesis or non-parametric test of hypothesis, testing of hypothesis. And the parametric test of testing of then what type of parametric test of hypothesis they had used, how they went for calculation, which software they had used for analysis, SPSS or what Excel or R software they had used. All such review you have to do so far as review of research literature is concerned, and that I feel gives you a very clear idea about your research, means what they had done in their research, and what you would be doing in your research, because topic you want to do for research is buying behavior, and you already reviewed literature which is research literature which is available on buying behavior. So what they had done, what uh, uh, they had covered, and what they had not covered and should have been covered or studied in your research, that will be clear when you go for review of literature. So in this you can understand there are no two parts. One is areas appear to be relevant for study and should have been studied but not studied, means for example marketing area, your research is in marketing area, and in past research studies what they had studied in their research, what areas they had covered in their research, and whether they are relevant or else also they would have been studied, and if you convince that some more they would have been or else they would have been studied in their research, but you found that they are that is not covered, that is not studied in their research, then that gap you can mention, and you can say that what they had not covered in their studies actually which would have been covered but not covered. So this what they had not covered, what that left in the earlier studies, that you would be covering your study, and that thereby you will be filling the gap. No, there is a gap, and that gap you want to fill or bridge through your research, that you can mention. Same time, this is about area, marketing, whatever area you select for your research, and area that what gap you found, that you can mention, and say that this was left and this you want to cover in your research. Then at the same time you can assess the methodological gap also through review of past research studies, means you can say or you feel that the particular statistical tool have been employed in that particular research but not employed, Means, for example, you feel that in research study he would have been you go for inferential study along with descriptive statistics, but inference he didn't went for inferential. So means you can come to conclusion that inference statistic was not employed, would have been employed and would have been improved the quality of analysis of data, but it is left, it is not employed, and so you in your research want to employ this statistical method and improve the quality of your data analysis. So there is a gap. Means you, after review of past research study, you found that there is a methodological gap. There is a certain tool, statistical tool would have been used for analysis, but not employed, not used. So there is a gap, and that gap, methodological gap, you would be covering or bridging through your research by employing that particular statistical tool. So this way you can identify the gap, and once you identify a gap through review of past studies, you can mention that how that gap you would be filling through your research, and this way you can understand that how review of past literature is very important. I already said you told you that it is a review of literature, is a review of theoretical literature as well as review of research literature. Review of theoretical is important, as well as review of research literature is also important when you start your research. So it is a in the proposal stage, means you cannot know, you have to plan that how you would be reviewing the past research literature, theoretical literature, that you have to mention, and that will give you direction while writing your research proposal, because this becomes the foundation of formation of statement of problem as well as formulation of statement of hypothesis. Review of literature become foundation, or in other words we can say this helps you in formulating statement of hypothesis, study, as well as formulation of statement of problem. Statement you can formulate as well as hypothesis you can with the help of review of literature. So this way you have to understand that review of literature is very much important in research, so that you can write in your proposal after introduction. Then next, as I already told you, that there is always confusion among the minds of students, researchers, that introduction what I should write. Uh, on the other hand, when I start writing what I should cover in statement of problem, and at the same time I should write also significance. So there is very clear idea that introduction what point we should consider, and on the other hand statement what we should consider. So here statement of problem, means you start statement of problem, you should consider need for investigation of research problem. Whatever problem you undertake for your research, is there a need of investigation on such research problem? It's not like no, you one fine morning you wake up and you will think, okay, no, let us no undertake this problem for research. No, you have to study whether there is a really need uh, for research on this topic. So how you will find out that there is a need of research on this topic? For that you have to go to field. Again, example, suppose you want to do research in management discipline, and particularly you want to do your research in human resource management discipline. Human resource management, you understand, is one of the functional area of management. You want to do this, and in order to undertake this particular your HR problem for investigation, you want to or you have to you have decided that a certain sector you will identify, and that certain sector you will study this particular HR problem sector. For example, textile sector. textile sector you want to refer for having no research on HR problem. Now, before you finalize this problem of our research, you visit that textile industry, textile sector, various textile units, and find out where there is a need of research on HR in textile industry. So field visit, field work is required. It's not, as I said, no, it's not like one fine morning wake up and then decide, let us have research on HR in textile sector, textile industry. No, you go to field, visit industry, discuss with concerned managers, officials, and interact and find out whether they are really facing problem of human resource management in the organization. If yes, then what are the evidences that you find out, that you study, discuss, generate evidences through some sources, maybe preliminary stage you can read some HR article, if at all available on textile industry, newspaper articles, magazine, serials, you read, find out. If at all you find that in textile industry there are problems of human resource management, if you, after reading articles which are published in magazines or serials or journals, uh, newspaper, you found that there is a really problem. There are this textile industry in Vijapur area. The textile industries are located in Vijapur, or textile industries in some Hubli, Dharwad, or Bangalore area. Look, and there you found that article by you found that the textile industry, they are facing problem of human resource management, human resources. So that is evidence. And also you visited article, you read, and from article you came to know there is a problem of HR in textile, and also you went to industry, interacted, preliminary visit, you interacted with official, and from official also you came to know that they are facing HR problem, human resource problem. There is a human resource problem. So this way you have convinced, okay, there is a really problem. And after you convince that there is a problem of human resource in textile industry in this particular area, then you can consider this problem for your research. So need, whether there is a need of investigation of such problem, that you have to understand, and that you have to mention in your statement of a genuine need for investigation of such problem. Thereby you will be able to justify why you are undertaken this problem for your research. Okay, once you convince, okay, there is a need of research on HR in textile sector, then you find out the origin, from where that problem is originated, and how far the problem what you undertaken for research is important in the industry point of view, textile sector point of view, how far it is important, whether it is important problem, what are the sub problems they are facing. Means HR problem is what? Means training, HR, you all know, human resource management include selection of employees, training of employees. It includes performance appraisal of employees. It includes various things, HR. So what are specific problem? HR what problem? Training problem they are facing. There is a lack of training so far as employees of textile industries are concerned, or there is a problem of selection of employees. There is a problem so far as selection of HR, human resource in textile sectors are concerned. What is exactly wrong? Or there is a problem of retention of employees. The turnover of employees is very high. Why? Why there is a problem? Is the reason? What is the reason? Performance appraisal is lacuna in performance appraisal, problem in performance, and so turnover of employees very high. They fail to retain employees, retention problem. So where exactly sub problem? Because you want to study HR problem. What in HR, what specific problem you want to cover in your research? That should be also clear, and that you have to specifically mention when you write the statement of problem. Okay, and again, specific problem what you are. For example, you say HR, you want to focus, or you have to concentrate on selection, training, and performance. This three only. Why? Why this three only? What about the other HR problem? Why this need? Why there is a need of no research specifically research in specifically on recruitment process, on training, on performance app? Only why this? So that you have to specifically mention when you write the statement of. So when you prepare statement of problem, these points you have to consider while writing statement. Means genuine need for investigation of problem, research problem, how far that problem human resource management is important in the industry, and what specific problem you come across through interaction with official, and when by reading articles which are published in newspaper, specific problem after reading various articles or interacting with official, you come to okay in HR research in textile industry means specifically on training, on recruitment, on performance only. That you can uh, thereby you will convey okay this you have to focus in your research, and that you have to mention in your statement of problem. So it is different than introduction. What you write introduction, you are talking about origin of topic, meaning of topic. For example, human, what is the origin from where this theory human resource management originated? Origin of human resource management, meaning of human resource management, importance of, and then what development took place in human resource management so far as theory of human resource management, that you generally write in introduction. On the other hand, statement, you write this why there is a need of research on human resource management in textile industry, from where that problem is originated, how far it is important this problem in textile industry, some statistical data you can mention if available, or you can justify by mentioning some past studies which have which are on HR in textile industry, and there will thereby you'll able to justify how HR in textile industry is important, and in HR which specific problems you want to uh, consider for your research. Why only training you want to cover? Why you want to focus on training? Why you want to focus on only recruitment or performance appraisal in your research? Why there is a need? So that you have to mention and justify your research topic. Statement of. So this is the statement of problem that you have to write in the following part. So you understand that statement of problem and review of literature. No, you have reviewed past literature, research studies, and formulated statement of problem, and this becomes the basis for formulation of hypothesis statements. Once you are clear about your research, your statement of problem, and you are well read about past research studies which are on for example which are on research, then on HR, then this becomes the basis for formulation of your statement of hypothesis. This is what you have to do. This is the third point what you have to mention in your research. That is statement of problem. Then in the next part of your research proposal, you have to spell out the objectives of your research. Statement form means what specifically you would like to cover in your research, that you have to mention in objective. Means you have to spell out your objectives of study. Now, after review of past studies, research studies, and writing statement of problem, you are clear that no, you want to do your research in HR, but in HR specifically, you want to HR, you want to cover recruitment and selection process. You want to explore recruitment and selection process. You want to examine recruitment and selection process of textile industry, because you are convinced or you found that there is a need of research on recruitment process, training, selection process. Also training, you found that there is a lack of training of employees in textile industry, that you found that from past research studies. There is a need of research specifically on performance appraisal system, what they are using, textile sector. There is a lacunas, and that you found by reading literature, by interacting, by having interaction with company officials. So this, now you have to consider while spelling objectives of your research. So statement form you can write, no, to study recruitment and selection process, to assess or impact of recruitment and selection process on performance of employees. Likewise, or to study effect of recruitment and selection process on performance of employees. Now you all understand, know that if process is ineffective, selection process employee, so that definitely that will have effect on performance of employees. If there is a lacuna or problem in recruitment recruitment of employees process in textile sector, selection process. Even you're convinced that there is training, you want to, you can say that training, to study the training method adopted in textile sector, to study effect of training on performance of employees in textile sector. For study training methods adopted in textile sector, to study effect of training on employees performance, or impact of training on employees performance. Impact, how you can study? By comparing pre training performance with post training performance of employees. Impact you can study. So likewise, performance appraisal, you want to focus on performance appraisal, so study performance appraisal system or explore performance appraisal system in textile sector. So likewise, you can use word to study, to explore, to examine, to study effect, to study impact, and mention the objectives of your research. So you have to be very clear about objective of your research, and you will be clear about objective research, or you will be clearly able to write object, provided you are clear about statement of your problem. You are well read about the past research studies. Are you getting what I'm saying? You are well read about the past research studies. Your concept of topics are clear. You're well read student, researcher of theory, and you're clear about statement of problem. If there is a clarity in statement of problem, then definitely you will be, you will able to spell out objective of your research very clearly. And I always tell research students, my research student, that your clarity about statement of problem as objectives research in the beginning is very important. The beginning of research, and so when you know start thinking about research, start planning of your research, you should have clarity about your research, your statement, your objectives. And if you have clarity about statement of your research, objective of your research, then I assure, I guarantee that till the last stage of your research, you will not find any problem. Your research process, you will complete successfully. Because as I said, no, research is not like researcher can wake up one fine morning and decide to go for research and complete. It is a stage by stage systematic and scientific process, so that you can able to complete systematically, scientifically, successfully, provided you have clarity about your research in the planning stage, in the proposal writing stage. So objectives you have to spell out, that you can spell out, provided you are clear about your statement of problem. Then in the next point of your proposal, you have to spell out the hypothesis statements of the study. So you always think that you should always formulate statement of hypothesis on the line of objectives. So once you are clear about objectives, then on the line of objectives, you can formulate the statement of hypothesis of your study. So that hypothesis is nothing but it is a type of assumption. Somewhere earlier session of this FDP, some speaker might have covered this topic, that is hypothesis. He might have explained you what is hypothesis, how to formulate statement of hypothesis, what is a null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis, further how you should go for testing of hypothesis, and uh, overall how hypothesis is important in our research. This some speaker you might have explained you another day, because that is a separate topic of discussion, hypothesis. But in proposal, when you write proposal, you should formulate the statement of hypothesis, and while formulating statement of hypothesis, you consider your objectives. As I already told you that your statement of problem and review of literature would be the basis for formulation of hypothesis statement. Well, if you are well read, you have read past research studies thoroughly, and you're clear about statement of your research problem, then on that basis you will able to formulate the statement hypothesis very clearly. Assumptions, because that is required, that you have to do right in the planning stage of your research, right at the proposal stage of your research, and that gives you direction, that will keep your research on the line, on the track. Correct. And you all know that this is a scientific when formulating statement of hypothesis of research, further testing and validating results. This is a method. This is a scientific method of research that you have to do. Now, in the following point of your proposal, you have to write the significance of the study. See, you are hope that you understood what you should suppose to write in introduction, on the other hand, what you should write on the in the statement of problem. And third, generally student they have confusion. Okay, I wrote introduction, I understood statement of problem, how to write, what to write in statement of problem. Then on the other hand, what I should write in significance of study. It's a different point, but there is a confusion always. So you should be clear that what I should write in significance, how it is different than introduction as well as statement of problem of my research proposal. So these points you can consider while writing significance of your, what is the significance of your research. So how you can explain the significance of your, would be importance or significance of your research? By writing or by explaining the relevance of your topic, research topic what you have selected for your research, how far it is a socially relevant, how it is a economic, how economically it is relevant, because this is very important. You should able to explain social relevance of your research, economic relevance of your research. When we talk about research studies in commerce, management, social relevance, economic relevance, you have to understand, and that you have to mention in significance of your research. Everyone does research. Even now, PG student, they do complete their research. Means MCOM student, MBA student, MS students, even science, they do research, PG level. Everyone does research, but how you carry that, how you uh, identify research topic which has a social relevance, economic relevance, that is very much important. So while identifying topic of research, you should study, you should understand the social economic relevance, and that you should able to explain, and that you should able to write and explain the significance of your research. How research what you are doing useful for industry and society. First, industry. You have selected HR topic in textile industry. So how far and how your research on HR in textile useful for textile industry, that you should able to write. And intern society is useful for industry, and in turn how useful for society, whatever research you are doing. So that point you have to explain in your while writing the significance of your research, how result or outcome of study will be applicable for industry, useful as well as applicable, because application is very important. You understand, you all know that in the industry there are managers, there are executives, they are practicing managers. They they can study human resource management, means they can study recruitment process theoretically. They can study techniques of selection, techniques of recruitment. They can study methods of training theoretical. No, it is available, means theory they can read and study. But how far method, training method applicable in industry, application is very important. So whatever research you have done on training in textile, how far your research, means ideas what you have generated through your research applicable for industry. You may come up, mean after your research, you may after your research on HR, you may come up with some HR model, or HR model become outcome of your research. Now, model what you have developed, HR model what you have developed for textile, how far it is applicable in textile industry, that you should able to explain, and thereby you will able to explain the significance or importance of your research. So these points, even problem what you undertaken for research, how it is relevant to society in particular, to economy in general, means particular relevance to the society in particular as well as to the economy in general. Same time you can explain in disciplinary interdisciplinary relevance at international national level. There means your research in that particular discipline, HR management discipline, as well as interdisciplinary. For example, your research in HR, and you all know that in business organization there is marketing also, there is a finance also, there is a production also. These are all various areas of function management, functional areas of management. So and you all understand that motto of business is maximization of profit, and you know that alone HR or alone finance department is not contributing for maximization of profit of business. They're all together. Together means HR, finance, marketing, operation. Together they are contributing for maximization of profits of organization. And your research is in HR. But how far your research has disciplinary relevance, interdisciplinary relevance, because it should have interdisciplinary relevance also. And how it has interdisciplinary relevance, because these HR finance, they are interrelated, HR marketing, they are interrelated. So your research, how it has interdisciplinary relevance as well as national international relevance, because local relevance, your research, how it has local relevance, how it has national relevance, international relevance, that also you should able to explain. And only after you're able to explain disciplinary relevance of your research, interdisciplinary relevance of your research, local relevance of your research, national level of relevance of your research, international relevance of your research, you will able to explain the importance of your research. You should able to explain the significance of your research. So these things you should consider while writing the significance of your study. Thereby you will able to explain how your research is important. So these you have to consider while writing the significance of your study. So you understand now what point you should write while writing introductory part of your proposal. On the other hand, statement why you should write, what statement of problem what you should write, and on the and thirdly, insignificance, which point you should cover. They are different, but you should be very clear, very much clear about these points when you will write these points while writing your research proposal. In the next point, we have to talk about research methodology. Would be research method. What would be methodology we would be using while carrying out our research? See, methodology, you all know, methodology is nothing but it is a type of system or certain procedures or certain methods which researcher use while carrying out his your research, right? He used certain procedures, he used certain methods, he follows certain systems while carrying out your research. That is nothing but methodology. So methodology is system, procedures, methods, techniques researchers use while carrying this. That is nothing but methodology. And I always tell research student that methodology matters. As I said, no PG level researcher research does. MPhil level researcher research, PhD researcher, or even academician they undertake research problem and do complete research. They go for funding for research proposals, minor research projects, major research projects. They complete. They get funding for their research from various funding agencies, UGC, maybe from UGC, maybe from ICSSR, maybe from NAC, maybe from AICT. Funding, these are the funding agencies from where researcher or academician they can get funding for their research. So academician they also undertake research for in their career. Student they do research, PG level, MPhil level, PhD level. Everyone does research. But how you carry research, what system you follow, what procedure you use, what methods, techniques you adopt while completing research, that matters very much. Rather, I always say quality of research, because research everyone does. But how you carry research, whether you able to carry this quality research, complete quality research or not, that is very much important. And I always tell my research student that your methodology what you use, well, that matters. Your quality of research depend on methodology you use while completing your research. So you have to be very much clear about methodology. What would be the methodology? Which methodology you are using your research? So right at the planning stage, right at the writing proposal stage, you should be very clear about methodology. What methodology you are going to use? Particularly, what would be the sources of data collection? You want to do research on certain topic, certain problem. Now, if at all you want to invest in that particular problem, you require data. So, from where where data is available? You want qualitative data, you want quantitative data for carrying out your research on particular problem. So, qualitative data, from where we can generate qualitative data? What are the sources from where I can generate qualitative data? My research in HR. So whether I should get quality data from records of human resource department in that company. Quality data, how, from where, means whether I should go to employees like managers, middle level manager, top level managers, and from whom whether I will able to generate qualitative data. What are the sources? I require quantitative as well as qualitative for my research. So from what are the sources from which I require I get quantitative data? What are the sources from which I get qualitative data? So you should be clear, and that you should write clearly when you are writing the proposal of your research. So some speaker might have covered this, data collection methods, how what are the uh, primary data collection methods: survey method, questionnaire method, discussion method, observation method, experiment, various such methods, how to construct questionnaire, how to prepare schedules, whether we administer questionnaire and collect data, quantitative as qualitative data, or use schedule, and by administering schedule, I require to generate qualitative data from respondent. That has to be clear. That you have to mention clearly in your proposal. In methodology, you have to write about data analysis tools also. We all know that there are no statistical methods which researcher can use for data analysis in his research. As I have told you that there are type of descriptive statistical methods, inferential statistical methods which researcher can use while carrying out his analysis in his research. So what are such descriptive statistical methods? Inferential statistical methods. Whether I will able to analyze data by using percentage method, or further I should go for some methods like mean, median, mode methods, statistical methods. If at all I want to assess the opinion of respondents, quality data I am required to generate quality, and for generating quality data I am assessing the opinions of, and for assessing opinions I want to use some scales, 5-point scale or 7-point scale, 5-point Likert scale or 7-point scale, 10-point scale. I'm using for assessing the opinion or rating the opinions of respondents. Okay, but further, how I should go for analysis of such data, what quality data which I generated by using scales? Whether I should able to calculate mean and reach to inference, or by calculating mode value, analyze data and reach inference. Which method? Statistical method. That I should decide. I should be clear about statistical method right at writing proposal stage. Further, if at all I want to go for testing of hypothesis, which inferential statistical method I can use for testing of hypothesis, I should be clear so that I can go for testing of hypothesis. Now, so far as this statistical method they are used for analysis of data in research is concerned, calculations, all these calculations, and this calculation part nowadays, these softwares, software like SPSS, software like R, software like Excel, these softwares, they made this calculation part very simple. Researcher can use such softwares and do calculation very easily. This part, this computer software, they made very simple. But after you get result from calculation by using software, researcher role, his role of interpretation of that result, that is very much important. Whatever mode value he come up with, come after calculation with software, what that value mode value means, What is the meaning of that mode value? What is the meaning of that median value? How you mean that value and interpret and write reference, inference of your research. That is rather skill of research. There, no, it's ability, aptitude, research aptitude, ability, knowledge, subject knowledge matters. So, with the help of subject knowledge, expertise in the subject, analytical ability, thinking ability, he will able to mean the values what he get from software calculation. Calculation process made simple, but further meaning these values and interpreting results of research, that is very important, and that researcher has to do. So that you have to plan right at the proposal stage. You have to be very clear about statistical tools which you would be using for analysis your data. And also sample design, you have to be very clearly plan your survey. Your survey is census survey or sample survey. As I told you in the beginning, that research studies in social sciences, means particularly in commerce or in management or even economics. So majority studies in social sciences, they are based on field visit. Field survey is required. Purely on the basis of secondary data, research studies, majority research studies in social science cannot be completed. They should conduct survey. Survey is required. And right at the proposal stage, researcher should plan his survey. He has to design his sample. Somewhere, earlier session, speaker might have told you about sample design. What is sample design? How, right from defining population, the process of design can be completed. Defining population, determining sample size, and selecting sample from population by using the appropriate sampling method, probability as well as either probability or non-probability sampling method. How sample is selected. That earlier speaker, you might have, because I found that there is a specific session, there was a specific session on sample design in this MDV. So there your concept of sample design might have. So right at the proposal stage, you have to be very clear about your sample, your plan of survey. So this becomes important part of methodology. So in methodology, when you write methodology, you have to consider these three things mainly while writing proposal. Sources of data collection, would be source of data collection, would be tools that you would be used will be used in data analysis, for data analysis, and your survey plan, sample survey. You should also write the scope of your study. What would be scope of your study or this research? And in scope, better if you write specifically what would be topical scope of your research, geographical scope of your research, analytical scope of your research, functional scope of your research. Now, for example, if your study is on quality management, your research is on quality management. Quality management is one of the functional area of management and management discipline. So, what would be topical scope of research if your research is in quality management? It's very clear. The topical scope of research covers the quality management practices adopted by the various B schools means B schools. For example, if your research is on quality management in B schools, so topical scope of this research covers the quality management practices adopted by various B schools in certain geographical area. Then geographical area. What would be geographical area of your study? This, for example, research, if researcher wanted to study quality management practices, that was also adopted by business management schools, and all such business management schools which are, say, for example, uh, in jurisdiction of Shivaji University, Kolhapur, Kolhapur, Shivaji University. Jurisdiction of this Shivaji University is in 3 districts, means Kolhapur, Sangli, Satara. You might have heard the names of these districts because this Shivaji University, Kolhapur, they have 3 districts under them. And colleges located in these 3 districts, they are affiliated to Shivaji University. And researcher wanted to cover these B schools which are affiliated to Shivaji University, means located in 3 districts, because jurisdiction of Shivaji University 3 districts. So geographical area of this research is restricted to jurisdiction of Shivaji University. Means whatever jurisdiction of Shivaji that researcher should cover. Means all the B schools which are located in these 3 districts, he should cover, or this becomes the geographical area of his research. So you can write geographical scope of the study will be restricted to jurisdiction of Shivaji University, Kolhapur. Then what would be the analytical scope of your study? You specifically mentioned that analytical scope, no, this will fulfill the objectives of object which you have set out for the study. Unless you fulfill the objectives of your study, you cannot complete your research. So this becomes the analytical scope of your research. Fulfillment of what? Objectives which you have set out for the study. Unless you fulfill the objectives, you cannot complete your research. So there you have an analytical scope. And where would be the functional scope of your research? So it's very clear that functional scope of research is confined to offering certain meaningful suggestions. Whatever suggestion you would be giving, there you have a functional scope, or your research has scope in the suggestions. Functional scope is confined to offering certain meaningful suggestions. So likewise, even you can write the scope of your research, and specifically you write topical scope of your, what would be topical scope of your, geographical scope of your research, analytical scope of your, functional scope. So by reading this, reader will able to understand, examiner will able to understand what specifically will be covered in your research. And right at the planning stage, it will be clear, very clear, that this I want to do, this I want to complete in my research. So there I have a scope for research. So this is the point, next point of your proposal, wherein you can write the scope of your research. Would it be scope of your research? As I have told you, that once you complete your research, then you have to write the report. Means by writing or your all research finding, you can put up in a report form. Now, whether you are a research scholar, MPhil level research scholar, or PhD or academician want to go for no minor research project, major research project. Once they complete their research, they should put their research finding in the form of report. There's a part and parcel of program, MPhil program or PhD program, or even when you go for undertake minor research project, you have to put your research finding report form. Objective of writing report is nothing but to communicate your research finding to interested audience, because you have done research, but unless you no communicate your research to interested audience, and if at all you want to communicate your research finding to interested audience, you have to use certain platform. Means we can say that you can go to seminars, conferences, national, international, state level, and in such conferences, or that is a platform where you can share your research finding with the interested audience. Well, all right, that is a kind of platform where you can share your research finding with interested audience. But if at all you have to complete a program, research program, then writing report is a part and parcel of that program. Unless you put your find report form, you cannot know your research cannot be evaluated. Research cannot be judged. That become part and parcel of program. So you have to write report. Means you have to put your research point of report. So how you would be writing report? Tentative scheme of your report. MPhil level we call it as a dissertation. PhD level we call it as a thesis. And PG level we call it as a report, project report. PG level, MCom, MBA, MA, MSc, PG level also research. Student, they complete the research. There they call it a project report. So research proposal, when you write research proposal, at the end of research proposal, you have to give the plan or scheme of your report. What will the how you would going to write your report? What is the first part or first chapter of your report, second chapter of your report, and how and where your report will end. So this is a standard format of writing scheme of report. But there is no hard and fast rule that your report you should include these parts only. But minimum these things you have to include while you prepare report. Minimum these things you have to consider while preparing your is introduction and research design. You can call it as a chapter 1. Theoretical background of the subject, you can call it chapter 2. Profile of study organization is organization which you undertake for investigation of your problem. Now, as I had given you a textile sector, if your research is in textile sector, then profile of that sector, you can write one chapter. Your data you can present, further go for analysis and reach to inferences. That all you can present another part of your report, which we can call a chapter number 4. And you can end your report by writing findings and suggestions. So in academics, this is a standard format of writing report. Academics, I'm talking PG level project report or MPhil level or PhD level thesis, the standard form. Minimum these parts, chapters expected from researcher when he write his or when he put his research finding in the form of report. But as I said, there is no hard and fast rule that researcher should put his research exactly in these points. He can add more. Minimum this much is required. If he feels you want to more things. He can add more points. He can make his report of 6 chapters. He can make his report of 7 chapters. If at all he feel some relevant under information or data, he should include in his report under separate head. Very well he can include. But minimum these things are expected from researcher when he write his put his research in report form. And also you should include annexures, bibliography. I hope that you all are aware about annexure and bibliography, how they are important when researcher writing. Or even writing the proposals, research proposal, you should, if required, writing research proposal, you have to include some such relevant documents or information, extra information in separate. That cannot be, if that information you feel cannot be a main, cannot be a part of main text of you, or you feel that for some information you require to provide in proposal, but cannot become a part of main text of your proposal, or if you include such information in main then that will affect the lucidity of that write up of your research proposal. Then such things, such information you don't include in main part of your research proposal, but include at the end under title of annexure, if required. So annexure, you all hope that knowing, that is a formal separate part of legal report which gives the extra information. Some such documents you have to provide as evidence, which is required. Then such information you can include at the end of your proposal under title annexure. And at the same time, bibliography is also very reference books. Whatever books you have referred, whatever research journals you have referred, whatever series you have used, or magazines you have referred, or newspaper articles you have read while preparing your research proposal, you should, their reference you should give at the end of your research proposal. The end of your research proposal as a format. Hope that you all are aware that how to write the references. Suppose you know, as I told you that researcher should be well-read student, well-read student. You should read as maximum as possible. Theory you should read as maximum. Research study, past research studies, he should review as maximum as possible. So whatever he read while preparing his research proposal, he should quote such references what he had used at the end of research proposal. Now there is always question, or you may be knowing that there is a certain styles of writing references. If at all you want to write reference of book, there is a certain style of writing reference. There are 10 to 11 styles of writing references of book. What I said, there are 10 to 11 styles of writing references of book. So researcher can use one of the style of writing reference of book and write bibliography at the end of research proposal. But here I would like to quote one style, mention one style of writing reference of book. That is a APA style of writing references of book. What I said? APA style of writing references of book. That is a well recognized style of writing reference of book, and this style of writing reference of book used world over by researcher. This style of writing reference of book used world over by researcher. Which style? APS style of writing reference. It's a well recognized style of writing reference. Particularly researchers who do research at MPhil, PhD level, doctoral level, yes. World over researcher, they use this style of writing reference. So you also consider this style of writing references when you write reference of books at the end of research, or when you complete your research and prepare report. You can use this style of writing reference of book. That is APA style. A stands for American. P stands for psychological. And A stands for association. So APA style of writing reference of book. American Psychological Association. Means this style of writing reference book is developed by this association, American Psychological Association. That's why this style of writing reference of book is known as APA style of writing references of book. And this is a world over recognized style of writing of book. World over researcher, they follow this style. You should also consider this style of writing, APA style. According to APA style of writing references of book, this is an example. Now, this slide I had shown how to give the reference of book according to APA style. According to APA style of writing of books, you should first mention the name of author of book. For example, while writing your research proposal, you have used or you have read book which is named as titled as Business Research Methods. This book, suppose you have read while preparing your research proposal, and this you want to quote, you have to give it as a reference. So how you can write reference of this book according to APA style? You first write name of author of that book. For example, the name of author of this book is Donald R. Cooper. Now, Donald R. Cooper, PS. The name of author. So first, you have to write the name of author, followed by year of edition of this book in the bracket. Means once you, after you write, after author, name of author, in the bracket, you write the name of edition. This book edition is 2017. Followed by title of book. Title of this book is Business Research Methods. In the bracket again you write 6 illustrated edition. Business Research Method, title of book, bracket 6 illustrated edition. And at the end, you can give name of publication company. So this book is published by McGraw-Hill Education. Name of publication, New York. So at the end of, you will write the name of publication company, New York McGraw-Hill Education. And if while writing research proposal, you have used certain pages of this book, you have not used the literature which is available in the book, whole literature, all chapters you have not used, or specific chapter, specific part of this book, if at all you have used while writing your research proposal, then at the end you can give the specific page numbers which you have used while writing your research from this book. For example, you use only a particular chapter or while writing research proposal, and then that chapter starts from page number 82 and ends at page number 102. Then you can, at the end, you can do pp dash 82 102. Means that is means that your researcher he has used page number 82 to 102 of this book while writing his research proposal. That is the meaning. So, first name of author, then bracket year of publication, then title of book, and followed by name of publication company, and at the end you can even give page numbers, pp. So this is the way of writing reference of books, and this is a APS style of writing reference of books. And this you should generally consider while writing reference of books, while writing research proposal, while writing bibliography in research proposal, or while writing bibliography in your research report at the end. When you, after completion of research, when you write report, project report, MPhil level dissertation report, PhD level thesis, you can follow this style of writing reference, the worldwide recognized style of writing references. You refer the second example, as on slide I had given the example of another book. Suppose your research you are doing in marketing, and you read marketing man while I use marketing man book while writing this research proposal. So how? First is name of author, that is Dr. Philip Kotler, AK, followed by edition of book 2008, then name of title of book, marketing management, 13th edition, and at the end name of publication company, Pearson. Same author book you have used, but of different edition. Dr. Philip Kotler, AK, edition is 2010, book is same, marketing management, publication company, Pearson. Same edition book, but published in 2 different years. One is published in 2000, then next publication is 2010. Edition is same. You have both you have used. So you give. Here one example I had given wherein the researcher had mentioned the page numbers also. See, Ennis B, last week's book which I had given on slide. Title of book is Marketing Principles, the Management Process. This is also McGraw-Hill publication book. But page specific, this indicates that researcher used specifically page number 228 of this book. Only 228, page number 220 page, 28 page of this book while writing his research book. Only page number 228. So that also you can mention. So this is called as a APS style of writing reference. So this you have to understand. Same line, you can even give the references of articles, research articles which you have published in, which are published in journals. While writing research proposal, you know that in research proposal you write review of literature part, wherein you can mention that this research studies you have referred, and this is the gap, and this gap will be filled up through your research. This way, this gap will be bridged through your research that you generally write in research proposal, second part of your research proposal. You are reviewing the literature, which is in the form of literature is available in the form of research article, which are published in journal. So you can give reference of such journals. So this is also this you can give. So how? First, name of research article, author of research article, name of author of research article, that is Anderson A. Which year he has published? 1994. What is the title of research article? Social marketing, its definition and domain. This is the title of his research article. Which journal he has published? Journal of Public Policy and Marketing. Volume of journal is 13. Number is 1. And this article is published. This article is available uh, uh, in the journal of Public Policy and Marketing on page number 108. Starts on page number 100 and ends at page number 114. So first, name of author of article, year, title of article, name of journal, its volume, its number, and page numbers. Bartlett J.K., name of author of article, 2001 publication, year of publication. Title of article is Organizational Research, Determining the Appropriate Sample Size in Survey Research. This is the title of his research article. Name of journal, Information Technology, Learning and Performance Journal, volume 19, number 1, and page numbers 43 to 50. So this research article is available on page numbers, means starts from page number 43 and ends on page number 50. So this way, the researcher can give the references of even research journals, which he had, from where he had generated research literature and reviewed for his for writing his research proposal. Sometimes researcher may use the refer the report, government reports, RBI reports, then World Bank reports. If researcher find information published in such report useful while writing his research proposal, so even reference of such reports can be given at the end of your research proposal. These are the examples of references of reports researcher used while writing his research proposal. And even nowadays, you know that researcher, they can know access the literature, research literature on through websites. So whatever literature you accessed, used while writing subject for your research, website what you use, you can give their references at the end of your research. So this is the important part of your research. At the end of you can give such references and complete your research. So this is what I think you have to understand, that how specifically research proposal you have to write. This can be a structure. This is a standard format of writing, structure of writing research proposal. Uh, hard and fast rule exactly. You have to follow these points while preparing your research work. But minimum these things, they are expected while preparing research work. And I told you in the beginning that research proposal, blueprint of your research is very important. Rather, you cannot complete your research successfully. That process you cannot complete successfully, research process successfully, if you are not clear about your research plan or blueprint of your research. You should have clarity about your research right at the preparation of research proposal. So there you should give your time. They should give uh, there should be involvement, your time you should give for preparing research. And if that is done, then I don't think uh, researcher will find any problem for completing research successfully. So this is what I thought discuss with you so far as this today's session on framing research proposal is concerned. So now I think from my side is over. Now session, if we want to keep for discussion, is open for discussion. Uh, and now
Yes, sir.
over to
It
you.
was a very wonderful session and a very informative too. There are a couple of questions from the participant side. One of
Yes.
the participants, she has asked how the research questions are decided and formulated.
Yeah. Okay. So far as research questions are concerned, uh, you know, in research, either you can have a research question or statement of or you can have research questions and then statement of hypothesis. For example, you want to again do research on buying behavior, or other example I had given you, that if your research is in human resource management, then uh, from past review of past research studies, we found that the past research studies, researcher could not cover training aspect. His research, past research studies also in human resource and that also in textile sector. You also want to do your research in human and also in same textile sector. After reviewing past research studies, you found that in past research studies, researcher does research in on human in textile, but could not cover training aspect, and which you want to cover in your research. So your research question, how you can put up, what are the training methods adopted in textile industry? What training methods adopted in textile units? What are the methods used uh, for training employees in textile units? So such kind of research question you have to answer, because you want to study training, also training aspect of human resource and your research, because it was not covered in earlier research study. So you want to focus on training provided to employees in textile industry. You want to do research on this training. So research question would be, what training is provided to employees of textile industry? What methods of training used while training employees of human resource management? So again, like I said, past research review of past research studies as well as uh, your statement of problem becomes the basis of your research question, as well as statement of hypothesis. Only difference between research question and statement of hypothesis, you while forming statement of hypothesis, you define variables, and then these two different variables you uh, assess their correlation, their relation, you assess through testing hypothesis. You formulate statement on the basis of variables. You identify two different variables and their relation you study through testing of hypothesis. First, you formulate statement of hypothesis by referring variables and their relation, is are they related with each other? These variables related with each other, that you study, that you assess, that you examine through testing of hypothesis. Whereas in research question, just put the question and answer this question through your research. What training methods, what kind of training is provided to employees in uh, HR, in textile industry, or what kind of training methods used while training employees in textile industry. That is the only difference. This way you can put, and this you give direction. The questions, research question gives you direction. Once you frame the research question, then that line you have to correct, because this question now you have to answer through your research. So if at all you have to answer this question, what data you want require, how you go for analysis, that you can decide, and through such data, analysis of data, you can answer this question.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
over to.
Another question. In the chapter skin that you have mentioned, the third point, profile of study organization. Kindly put light on this again, sir.
Okay. Now, for example, again the same example we can refer, that you want to do your research in human resource management, and that too also uh, your research you want to do in textile industry. For your research you want to refer textile industry. Now, as I said, no, you have to put your research in report form, and while writing report, you should consider these chapters. This part, this becomes the parts of your report, wherein you can write about profile of study organization. And if your research, for example, if your research is in human resource and textile industry, then you should able to write about textile sector. Means because your research is in textile sector, you, for example, if you are specifically referring some textile units of textile sector, then you can write first you can write about textile sector, means past, present, and future of textile sector. Means you can, under this you can make two parts. One, past, present, future of textile, because your study, your research is in textile in units, selected textile units. So you have to write about past, present, future of textile sector, that industry, textile industry, which first textile industry started, where it started in India or in international level, past of this, where it is. Present, what is the present status of textile sector in India as well as international level, local level also, and future. So that you can write in the first part of this chapter. And second part of this chapter, you just write about the specific profile of units which you have specifically selected for your research. For example, Vijapur district, there are some textile units, and you have referred those textile units which are located in Vijapur for your research. Suppose there are five, you have selected five textile units which are located in Vijapur district. So, second part of this chapter, you can write profile of these only five textile which you are referred for your study. Means they are, for example, their history, their background, their management, the specific products that textile unit manufacturing, profile of products, organization structure of that, financial status, some employee status of that. So likewise, five, you write profile of one by one all five units, because you have selected those five units for your research. So first part you are writing about textile industry, past, present, future. Second part you are writing about information of specific textile units which you are referred for your research. So likewise, in two part you can write this particular chapter, which you can call as a profile of study organization, or even you can title this chapter in different way: contemporary scenario,
Okay.
or textile industry colon contemporary scenario. What is the title? How you can give title? Textile industry colon two dots a contemporary scenario. This can be a title of chapter, and in that you can make two parts. One is past, present, future of textile sector. Second part, profile of specific units which you are referred for your study. So likewise you can complete this particular.
Okay,
Hence, you
sir.
have to understand this chapter you are writing about organization which you are referring for your research, or organization wherein you want to do your research. You are writing about that organization. Over to
Yes, sir.
Professor.
Thank you. It was a very exhaustive and clear answer for both the questions. I hope the participants are satisfied with sir's answer because it was very elaborative in its explanation.
True.
What I feel
Thank you.
is research, framing research proposal, it is very significant concept in making our research acceptable. So with this, we conclude today's session. I, on behalf of Anjuman Management, Anjuman Degree College, and all the participants, are very grateful for your session, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And a request from the participants to kindly share your email ID and the PowerPoint
Okay,
presentation.
thank you from my side also. Thank you all the organizing committee for giving me an opportunity to deliver session on framing research proposal in this FDP. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. All the participants,
Can
we
I
shall
leave,
meet
madam?
tomorrow. Yes,
Hello,
sir.
madam.
Sure, sir.
Yeah. Okay,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you.
Yes. You may exit, sir. So all the participants, we shall meet tomorrow at 12. That will be the concluding session. So whoever has not joined the WhatsApp, kindly join the WhatsApp group as early as possible so that you can submit the feedback link that will be shared in the WhatsApp group itself. Thank you. Have a good day.